I'm Ash.
And I'm Kaladan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the big crossover. We are doing the 97 sessions. We have great nerd guests talking to us about X-Men 97, the nostalgia cartoon that we are loving / hating / crying about / obsessed with / don't want to be obsessed with.
Let's go! All right, hello everybody. I'm so excited. We are here together, united, to discuss this episode of Mutant Rivalry. And today, for the first time in 97 sessions history, we have with us a brand new third chair. Michael, also known as BlackGayComicGeek. Everybody say yay, hi. Hi, Michael. Say hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
So tell us who you are.
My name is Michael. I go by BlackGayComicGeek on all of social media because I'm black, I'm gay, I like comics, and I always say the things I love to talk about on my social media channels has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. Make it a little PG-13. I even got it tattooed right here on my leg. Blood, sex, gore, and magic. So I like to stick in the fantasy genre, superheroes, comic books, horror movies, animated movies, all of that stuff. And of course, black representation and queer representation. So make it blacker, make it gayer is my motto.
Love. And just for the people who can't see us right now, I just want to note that Michael is sat here with the Storm shirt on. I just needed to point that out because that's a great shirt and I might want to steal it from you.
You got to make your way to America for that.
Don't test me. I will find a way if I must. But yes, no, we're here to talk about X-Men 97. So before we get started, actually, I wanted to talk to you about your relationship to the X-Men because you've been talking about this show as well on your Instagram, haven't you?
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So I love mutants. It started with the 90s X-Men animated series. Mm-hmm. And this is how you knew I was a young gay child when back in the day. Because everybody's talking about Gambit. Oh, I want to be Wolverine. Meanwhile, I'm like, I want to be Storm. May the weather and power of the snowstorm blaze down upon me.
Ice, winds,
Storm.
Or like all the other, I didn't want to be Jean Grey though, because she was always fainting every single episode. She can't even levitate a pencil. I was like, come on, Scott. But
nobody wants to be Jean Grey. That's why they had to wheel Aunt Maddie in there, because not even Jean wanted to be Jean. She had to take like a quick couple of episodes off for herself.
But it was only the cartoon that did that, because if you look at Jean from the comics, it's completely different.
So have you been enjoying X-Men 97 since it's been on?
I have been enjoying X-Men 97, but I will say this season, I'm like really feeling like it is having a lot of pacing issues in the sense of they're introducing so many different concepts, characters, things that should be important and should, if this was actually the 90s, a 4-episode part, it's rushing through. It's one episode. Let's move on to the next thing. And it's really showing that not just this show, but a lot of shows, stop giving us 6 to 9 episodes. Let's go back to at least maybe not 24 episodes, but at least 15 episodes. If the Pit can give us 15 episodes, why can't these shows?
Yeah, no, I agree. Actually, you've been talking about this as well a little bit. We talked a lot about this in the first season. How do you feel about the crunch of X-Men 97 this season?
It was always a bit abridged. It's huge. Not only is there a massive cast of characters, but there are 100 different eras and paradigm shifts, and they have to cram massive amounts of lore and background and things into these short episodes. And now they've just given us more characters. They were like, you want to see that bitch from that one comic, that one time? He's here. You want to see the one with the big arm? You want to see the one with the knobbly head? Hey, how about the bald 13-year-old? Why is Sync bald at 13? Let him have some follicles first before you snatch him bald, please. But they're shoving everyone in. And me personally, I think they're trying to see what works. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? They're like, where is it going to pop off? Which episode is going to be amazing? If we show them X-Force, does that become the favorite? If we show them Gen X, does that become the favorite? And I think it's a testing ground. But sometimes, yeah, I agree with Michael. It can make it feel really rushed. Do you know what I mean? You're going at 60 miles an hour through X-Men.
Yeah, I think on my end, I come from the house of like Young Justice.
hello, Megan.
When like we had a season storyline going from, and there was like some moments in it to diverge, but like that's how I want it to feel more of a story. I think that is also what Michael, you were saying, like something we've sacrificed also in the streaming age when everything now is 5 episodes, and if it's 10, it feels like quote unquote something, but we don't get to double digits a lot. And yeah, I do think it really suffering. And I do think the problem that you were talking about, Ashley, as well, the fact that like we have such a huge history, to me, that's fun. I feel like, but maybe because I'm a fan of this world, that I feel like it's so fun. You have so much that I don't know why you don't want to give the space to tell these stories or to explore some of these themes in like a singular storyline. And I don't know, something about, the pacing of this season doubled on with all this sort of extra sort of storylines that all of a sudden are mashed in. Like all of a sudden we're at X Corp now. We're jumping ahead in the episodes, but like we're at X Corp, and then we had X Factor. Now we have the Acolytes, and we have all these things happening, and like we're losing a bit of the stories that led to these characters.
Yeah, because even like you mentioned with Young Justice, every episode, or every season rather, got like at least 20 something episodes each season, and so that gave you time to not only introduce these big concepts and these season long arcs, but also have individual episodes that eventually will pay off for these season long arcs, and also have character moments. Because like you mentioned, they're introducing all these characters, but then we see them, but we don't really get to attach to them or get to know these characters. So you know them from the comics. Oh, cool, Frenzy, but then you're never going to see Frenzy again.
Yeah.
Or one thing about this show and this season in particular, I feel like they're introducing a lot of mutants and they're killing them off. Like this, I know we're talking about episode 5. I'd stick with episode 5, but Maggot was introduced in this episode and got killed off. It sucks because, you might ask the casual X-Men fan, who is Maggot? They're not going to know who the fuck Maggot is. But he's one of the rare black mutants in comics. And the fact that he got killed off, and he was killed off through a genetic experimentation, which then calls back to the Tuskegee experimentation. It's like y'all could have did something else. Or Magic in episode 7, like they killed her off. Like there's so many people that they just keep killing off randomly.
Yeah, you're right. And you're saying like people don't know who the fuck this is, but people didn't know who the fuck Morph was last season as well. And they built him up and they created this character and this storyline. I think the question that I always also go down to is like, when we shrink these stories, who ends up getting the narrative? And we end up we're having like Polaris stepping up in front and center. That's great for Polaris and all that, but then we end up in a situation where Storm had one moment, episode 1, and now she's just in the mansion working on her beehive, and she looks great, but we're not getting anything else. And we're not getting a lot from Bishop, who's like such an active player, but we're not actually getting much of a storyline of his interiority. And it's like the black people, the visible mutants, it's like the queer ones end up getting the short shrift, and instead we get Jean, Logan, and Scott pushed up front and center, and Polaris now, and it's like their narratives again. That's fine, but it feels bad when we're watching a story about the minority experience.
And even then, like I would say Cyclops and Jean have taken a back seat this season. Outside of like what was it, the first or second episode where they went to when they were in the future? They've essentially been MIA. Like we're talking about episode 5, but we're at episode 7 currently. We haven't seen Scott, Jean, Storm.
I was just gonna say, I think what annoys me about that is that like we know it's gonna circle back to them because we know Apocalypse is coming back towards the end of the season, so they're gonna get the narrative again, and that's why I'm like, okay, they went away, but we know they're coming back. Storm, I don't know what she's gonna do because she's not central in the storyline. Ashley, you were gonna say something though. What was that?
The thing that you said made me slightly disagree with the point, because I think Morph, if we're talking about like episode 5, Morph is one of the people who has had a bit of a drip feed. Because while you were talking, I totally agree with you. I think we move so fast that one of the things sometimes that you can sacrifice, because you talked about Young Justice, is that slow burn. The thing that was good that I really liked about Young Justice is a theme would build consecutively for 4 or 5 episodes, and then you'd get this payoff that felt really earned. Do you know what I mean? Because you watched it brew, you watched it change. And I feel like we're moving at such a pace that you almost end up very one note. You end up at one speed. Everything's happening super fast. And Morph is one of the people, and his little thing with Wolverine, I think that's had the most consistent drops throughout the whole season, because that was even in season 1. Do you know what I mean? So this thing has been recurring. And you're right, Storm, I think, has gotten the short shrift, definitely. But the time when she does show up, they're sort of hyping her connection and relationship with Forge.
Daniel.
Do you know what I mean? The Storm and Forge thing comes back quite a few times, and the Morph and Wolverine thing comes back. So given that we have seen this a couple of times, do you lot think that this feels more earned for you because it's been building or not?
I would say yes and no, because I still don't really know what story they're trying to tell with Morph and Wolverine. Are they saying that they're going to be a couple? Are they saying that Wolverine also maybe harbors some level of feelings for Morph too? Or are they just going to say, oh, this is just a queer character that is pining for a straight guy that's never going to get reciprocated? Because we don't know. Because they keep playing fast and loose with Wolverine all the time. Even in the comics, like one moment they're teasing that Wolverine is in a throuple with Jean, Cyclops, and him. And they even tease that it's not just them messing with Jean and sharing Jean, but they tease sees that Wolverine and Cyclops are messing around. But then they're like, oh, no, no, it's not happening. The next moment they try to erase it. And, oh, no, it's not happening. It never happened. It's not here. Ignore what you saw, yada, yada, yada. And so I'm like, I don't really know what they're doing, because a lot of times you also have the trope of the sexless gay trope, where it's like, you get your queer representation with Morph, but he's never gonna have a love interest.
No one loves him in return.
Yeah, no one loves him in return.
You're always just there begging.
Yeah, there's like a very specific moment in this episode that we're talking about that like really pissed me off, when it was during that scene when he was like switching out from Cyclops and then he had to become Jean to snap Wolverine into it. I agree with what Michael is saying, that like we don't actually know where it's going at the moment. We're just like in the land of subtext, right? A lot of these things as well are like that we, I think, as 3 queer Black people can see the stuff, right? We can see, okay, this is like a DL thing. We can see the metaphor. We can see the way this can be applied to it. The show is giving crumbs. The thing that really frustrates me about it is that I distrust that the show is ever going to do anything with this. I feel like exactly what you're talking about, Michael, that what happened with the throuple is going to happen again, where it's going to be like, here's a little bit, but we're just going to step back from it, because ultimately we can't have the Wolverine brand be bisexual, even though it makes sense and it works with the character. And the question that like I ended up walking away from this episode is thinking, I was like, is it okay? Like, how do I feel about subtext? And it's like such a big, I think, thing with the X-Men. A lot of the stuff that is manifesting now, or that has manifested in the last few years with the character, really operated in subtext for such a long time that now I'm just like, is that still useful to be doing now? Do we need more like overt stuff? Does the story get better or worse? Do we lose something from the X-Men? All I know is that like it leaves me feeling a bit like meh.
I'm at the point where I hate subtext. I want fucking text.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you look at it from the standpoint of, let's be perfectly honest, especially being the person that has made content and makes videos on a daily basis and have sometimes deal with a lot of different comments from a lot of different people. To be perfectly blunt, people are fucking stupid. Yeah. Critical media literacy is down the toilet. We're in a literary crisis, at least here in America. I'm not sure what's going on in the UK. Critical thinking is in the trash. So in a lot of ways, it's to the point, is if a character doesn't explicitly say it, people don't know what subtext is. Mm-hmm. So you could see something that's subtext and something that could be completely obvious to me and you, but then somebody's like, oh no, you're reading too much into it, or the character doesn't feel that way. It's like, what show did you watch? I remember, I don't know if you guys watched The Vampire Lestat.
Yeah.
But I was live reviewing one of the episodes, and somebody, because I was like, for a gay show, there's not a lot of gay sex in this show. Like, the only sex scenes we keep seeing are the incest scenes between Lestat and his mother. Spoiler for The Vampire Lestat for people that maybe haven't seen it. But somebody said in my comments of, what are you talking about? It's not a gay show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not a gay show. Like, his main love interest is another man. Like, they're like, yeah, but Lestat also sleeps with women. It's like, okay, yes, Lestat is bisexual, but his OTP, his one true love, his one true partner is Louis, another man. Like, they are the shit. They are the thing that keeps the show going. It's a gay show. So again, going back to people not being stupid, it's like, you got to be told everything. And so like, it gives straight people a sense of like cognitive dissonance, where they can like, if it's not said, they can choose to ignore it.
It's coverage. It feels intentional to me, and that is what pisses me off.
I think it is intentional because, and I think it will be strongest in this type of show. In this type of show where they are specifically building it so that the most amount of people can get their, I know that moment. It's meant to be evocative of people's childhoods. Like, we're cramming in all these different generations of mutant so that everyone can go, I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Academy X. I like them. Oh, is that the bit where he rips out? He takes the metal off his skeleton. I know that. Oh, look, it's Astra and him. I know that. And you know what wasn't part of 97? Gay shit. So I feel like if we're doing a nostalgia show that is meant to appeal to a broad audience at a time when gay shit really wasn't happening generally, I'm not surprised by that. And I think you're right. It is that plausible deniability thing. Let's do just enough that it hints at it, but never enough that it can be a topic of conversation. And that keeps people like us seeing things and scrapping in the streets with magpies and pigeons.
Okay.
But
you're losing me with this metaphor. Just what? Explain. Magpies and pigeons. Explain that.
Those are two birds that I don't like.
Okay, keep going.
Magpies are irritating, always in your business.
Did that help you, Michael? Because it didn't help me at all. Thank you. I'm not crazy, right? Okay, go on.
I've had fun. Good luck, everybody.
No, come on.
No, this is that sort of show. It keeps us fighting. I don't see how you can read something, how you can't read something phallic in Wolverine sitting there and popping his claws and looking at Morph in the reflection of his claws as Morph pines for him.
When this episode first aired, Ashley and I talked about it very briefly for 5 minutes. And the thing that we talked about was like our different views about it. Ashley was just like, oh, this is Morph yearning for Wolverine. And I was just like, oh, I understood it as Morph fucking Wolverine when realizing that Wolverine is DL and will never give him what he wants. What I'm curious about is, how did you read it, Michael?
No, I completely agree with that because I said this even in season 1. Morph and Wolverine are fucking. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if the showrunner, I don't care if the head of Marvel Television, Brad Winderbaum, comes out and says, no, Wolverine is straight. Fuck you, Brad Winderbaum. It's not true. Because if you think about that scene, and I don't remember what episode it was, but when the Goblin Queen episode where Maddie came and they did the Inferno thing in season 1 after she found out that she was a clone. And there was a moment that Morph saw, or what he thought was Wolverine in the shower. Yeah. And Morph was just like, do you need help reaching those hard to reach places or whatever? And he popped his claws and walked in on Wolverine in the shower. If they weren't having sex, why would Morph feel comfortable enough to walk in on Logan in the shower like that? And it's not like he paused or like, oh, it was a joke. It was a joke. No, he literally continued to walk in on that man in the shower. And if Wolverine wasn't for it, are you saying basically Morph is a sexual predator? Because that's essentially what that would have been.
Go on.
If they didn't have any type of preconceived consent before that.
Yeah, no, I feel like just like there's been enough established stuff, especially in the history of and their interaction in the show, where it feels like there is something going on, which is why I think that scene that I was talking about earlier really annoyed me, because it felt like it was arguing, no, the one true pairing is him and Jean, whether the show goes that way or not. That's his love, the love of his life, and Morph is the thing of the side. So the divergence of our view, just to go back to this idea of the subtext conversation we were talking about, is what I was like, I feel like we were all talking about. I think that all of this is happening intentionally. It's not definite. It's not defined. It's not definitional. And to me, that's, as a queer viewer, as a black guy watching this, I'm just like, yeah, that just fucks me off a little bit.
It's implied. Do you know what I mean? And to Michael's point, it's meant to be inconclusive. And a queer person is meant to just get enough of a crumb that you could assume plausibly that it was happening. And I think I'm with Michael on that. I think there needs to be text. Do you know what I mean? Because there's text everywhere else. Jubilee and Sunspot are having a whirlwind romance. Polaris is falling on Bishop. If she sneezes, she's on them. And then down she goes, oh no, look, I fell on you again.
I do it too. I would do it too. I'd be like, oh no, my powers are like lacking now. Oh no, I'm a jump. Oh my God, you're falling. Oh, let me hug you. I was like, sister, I pulled that move. I see you. But no, we're jumping ahead too much. I realize now that we've been talking for about 20 minutes and we have yet to actually
do the recap.
Get into the recap. So, Michael, if you would please give us a quick recap of this episode.
So basically the episode picks up a little after the last episode ended, where Wolverine's trying to get his claws back, trying to get his adamantium claws back. But the rest of the people don't know that. So he makes up some elaborate lie that Weapon X is experimenting on people. So he gets his band of former Weapon X proteges together. And Morph decides to tag along, and they run into an alien species called the Brood, and chaos ensues.
Oh, I just want to shout out a few of the characters there. We have Lady Deathstrike, we have Kane, Maverick, Sabretooth are part of the crew that they've compiled to go and get. I forget the doctor's name. Does it matter? He seems like a character.
Name, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Dr. Evil, Weapon X guy. And that was the recap. That's all you need to know.
X-Men! Sabretooth sits in that plane with that man spread, full bulge on display.
We must dissect this. How do we feel about Sabretooth showing off his meat? Begin.
let's just run with the assumption and lean into it and say that Morph and Wolverine are fucking, right? The messiness of pulling all your jump offs into one plane is crazy. Wolverine said, if you know what my undercarriage smells like, I need you on the mission. I need you on this mission.
Wolverine said, Thunderdome! Thunderdome!
He said, I want these bitches fighting over me. Do you hear it? Do you hear it? Do you get it?
Consider how much of a hatred Wolverine and Sabretooth have for each other. I know Sabretooth smelt the sex that was happening between Morph and Wolverine. So he was trying to mac, not because he actually wanted Morph, but he wants to take everything from Wolverine. Him sitting on the plane, like full meat hanging out. I was like, he was doing that for Morph. He was doing that for Morph and Lady Deathstrike.
2 points. In the show, I totally agree with you. And the bit that I felt that was most textual was Sabretooth going, I'll take care of you. Look, if he ain't doing it right.
Fact.
That is very toxic ex-boyfriend who's just trying to fuck up the relationship.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
heard you like claws and hair.
Yeah. He's like, you into cheating? We could do that too.
And granted, Sabretooth is a serial killer. Don't do it, Morph. But also at the same time, do it, Morph. Like
Wolverine is a serial killer.
They are killers, baby.
No, not on the level of Sabretooth. Not on the level of Sabretooth. Not on the level of Sabretooth.
It takes 3.5 seconds, yeah? If you look at that man wrong, he's sinking all of them claws into your chest. We've seen Wolverine jump on people's shoulders. We've seen Wolverine put somebody's head in the middle and send the middle claw into the... Wolverine's killing people every 16 minutes.
He's killing bad people. Sabretooth is killing everybody.
Sabretooth is a psychopath and a rapist and it's just irredeemable. But here, I think, do you know what? The other thing you just made me realize as well is that the relationship between Morph and Wolverine is inferential. Do you know what I mean? They allude to it a lot by where they are together, him walking into the shower, the familiarity that they have, the yearning, like having him sitting by his bed, waiting for him to get up, the way that Morph switches himself and disguises himself as people that he knows Wolverine loves more. All of that speaks to like this love and yearning and wanting. But actually the bullying of that relationship is text. That isn't subtext.
How do you
know
mean?
what I mean? When Sabretooth leans in and goes, oh, so you were just as his little pet? He basically called you his bitch. So what are you, his bitch? And that's the bit that I think I take a step towards what you were saying before, where if the bond is alluded to, don't make the criticism and the shame for that bond louder than the bond itself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you can be taking the piss off. And I know that's how it works. That's how homophobia does work. You don't need to be shagging a man to be receiving bullshit for your closeness. But it does leave you not getting the good thing and getting a bit of the bad thing.
I just want to speak up for my good sis Yuriko, who was not homophobic. Her issue was that you're fucking this man, not a man. And I respect that. Yeah. Lady Deathstrike was like, him? Girl, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
But she clocked that T like almost immediately. And not to jump ahead, but I know you mentioned something like the blackest part of the episode. That was the blackest part of the episode. Like, Molly, you in danger, girl.
One thing about the tables, they turn.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to the categories a bit later. How do you guys feel about a Weapon X story? Let's go there. Ashley, you want to start us off? How do you feel about a Weapon X story?
That groan made me go, I want to know.
Internal. Go on.
I don't care about none of these people. I don't care. Okay, they put the metal in all of you. We know. We know. Guys, you need to stop having reunions about it. Somebody needs to find... None of you got PlayStation. None of you got mobile phone. You got games on your phone? Why are you all still here? He should not be able to ring you and gather this group. Nobody here fucks with him. Do you know, that's like you and your 8 worst colleagues.
It's like high school.
Why do you want to hang out with these people? Go home! I get it. But you know, sometimes when you listen to an album, yeah, and an artist has decided on a sound, and you can see that for the 12 tracks, they've been trying to make one song. And then there's one song where it's like, that's it, you nailed it, that's the sound. And then every other song is just less, it's just not as good.
So you're saying that they're just trying to recreate something that isn't quite clicking. To me, personally, it's more, I don't care. To me, this is boy comics, which is my consistent critiques. When it gets a bit like, the boys are here and we're here to fuck shit up and explosions. I'm just like, one thing about about this episode, I really found myself surprised by how much I enjoyed this episode, because I was like, the minute you make boy comics also gay, you get me. I'm intrigued. When you sprinkle a bit of homosexuality in there, I'm like, homosexuality. I'm just like, homosexuality. I'm like, okay, intriguing. Now I can see where this is going.
I like this episode overall, and that's my thing about this season, and because I've seen the entire season, I know where the episode, like where the season ends. So I like this episode, but the way I feel is just, I feel like there was no stakes. It came too soon. There was no weight to this episode. There was no emotional payoff, no arc to this episode. Wolverine just lost his claws like only a couple episodes ago. We didn't get to see him sit with and live in the fact that he doesn't have an adamantium skeleton and what that potentially might mean for him as a fighter or whatever. Because in the comics, when he lost his adamantium skeleton, he started to become more feral, more animalistic, and less human. There were consequences to that. We're not really seeing any consequences. So it's just, oh, I want my claws back because. And it's like, I just feel like this payoff, like have that big moment in the finale where Magneto ripped his claws out, only to be like, we're just going to give it right back. So yes, it's a cool episode, fighting the Brood, the fight scene. Now he got his claws, but I don't care because.
Why did it matter?
Yeah, why did it matter?
Yeah.
So it's like so that's how I feel about the season overall. These are good episodes, but they're just rushing through stuff.
I agree. I feel like the show is, now we were 2 seasons in and like we're halfway through the season. And like I find that a lot of it seems to be about the moment. It's like a feat show. It feels like it's about getting that GIF, that clip for people to go on social media. It feels like the most significant thing that can happen in the show thus far that has happened is the death of characters, right? They've killed off Magneto, they've killed off Gambit, and like we know what death is in the X-Men story. So to me, as someone who's really deep into the lore, that doesn't feel significant enough. So now I'm kind of just feeling like, okay, where's the meat in the story? And like what we end up missing is that because of these massive, just the accelerated timeline of these stories, we end up missing the meat. Instead, we just have a bit of a PowerPoint of Jubilee's fireworks.
I totally agree. And to me, it's like X-Men in bullet points.
Say more.
Wolverine gets his adamantium taken out. Wolverine gets it back. The Brood arrive. They get taken to the past. Apocalypse becomes Apocalypse. It feels like there's these big tentpole things, but to your and Michael's point, we're not seeing what happens in between those big moments well enough.
Yeah, they're cramming like 20 plus years of comic book lore into 9 episodes.
Yeah, so you're just like, whoa, yeah, that happened. That was a big moment. And then we rush through to the next one. You go, yeah, but actually, you get diminishing returns on it because after a while, you're just like, okay, like Magic turns. Wait, that's the wrong episode. Don't worry.
Talk a little about it.
What? What did you do any of that stuff for?
She passed away? Oh. All right.
You moved those people 25 meters and then died. And
what took me out of that moment is that how she slowly turned and she was just like, bye now.
It took so long.
You could have done 10 different things in there, sister. 10 different things.
To be fair, that was from Colossus's perspective, so we don't know how long it actually took. But the fact that Magic, and I had a whole rant about it. I'm like, the fact that Magic has her soul sword, that means the whole thing through Limbo, all of that stuff is gone through. She's already Sorceress Supreme, more than likely. And somebody reminded me that Morph turned into Darkchild in season 1, so that means she has her Darkchild form. She could have took out that fucking Sentinel by herself. The fact that they killed her off, and Magic is not a small character.
No,
that's a big character that they just randomly killed off. And I saw some people say she's going to probably come back in episode 8, 9 as a Horseman of Apocalypse. Again, I've seen the entire season. No, Magic is dead.
Just so you know, none of that bullshit. So you know.
Yeah. So what the fuck? What are y'all doing? And that's the thing. They're giving us way too much plot and not enough character. And we like X-Men because of the characters.
It was called the superhero soap opera. That is the key trait of it. And soap operas are a storyline. They're just plot. They're just drama. Yes. And what we're getting instead is, we were both all saying, these are just these flashes of these moments. We're missing so much. The thing that really scares me about it is we know that season 4 is being worked on right now. Season 3, I don't know if that's in the can or not, but we know that a lot of work has been done on that.
I think they said season 3 is done.
Yeah. Okay. So that's coming. Yeah. That's scheduled to come next year. What what scares me is that, so if we're doing all these moments really quickly, we're going to run out of stories. We're going to run out of shit. Sure, we have a big history of X-Men, but if you're doing Madeline Pryor's Inferno arc in one episode, if you're doing Wolverine losing his adamantium and getting it back within the space of 2 episodes, if Magic became Darkchild in the background, then what are all the big X moments that we're going to have left? What are we going to do? Like when it comes to season 5, I really do worry about that.
Nothing, especially considering Brad Winderbaum said, I want this show to go at least 10 seasons.
Can you imagine what the 10th season is going to be?
Yeah,
it's going to be
give us 10 seasons worth of stuff because y'all are just rushing. Give us more episodes.
Telling you right now, I do not care about X-Men 2099. If I see those bastards on my... I don't give a fuck.
Death to all of them.
I don't care.
2099.
I never read X-Men 2099. I never read 2099.
Don't. You're better off.
Do you know what? It had some interesting things. The designs, lovely gowns, beautiful gowns.
The most I know from 2099 is Miguel O'Hara, but even then, I didn't read any of the 2099.
You're good. Honestly, the best thing they ever did with 2099 is that movie. When he popped up in that movie, I was like, okay, great.
Like, I've always wondered, because I'm like, these characters they're immortal, more or less. What's going to happen when we actually get to 2099? Are they going to still have Peter Parker, or are they going to just be like, here's these new characters?
Actually, on that point, so far we've been in 97 forever. Do you think the show will ever advance in time? Let's start with you, Ashley. Will it ever be 98? I think we need to get X-Men 2001. Let's move the story a little bit.
I don't know. I have no idea. I think it will just be an amalgam forever. It will just be an amalgamation of different things.
That does worry me, though.
I know. I think it's a really good question where you're like, are we going to run out of stories? And I think what puts urgency on that is they have dated the show. It isn't just like a backlog of all of X-Men history, which gives you everything. It's like a particular era of X-Men that is meant to be nostalgic. And you run out of nostalgia way quicker than you run out of stories. There's stories that are going to feel too contemporary and aren't going to scratch that, oh yeah, I recognize that from the past itch in the same way. Do you know what I mean?
Do you see that as like turning into a problem for them?
Yes, and that's also kind of why, as much as I love X-Men 97, I'm glad that we're seeing the X-Men back. When it was first announced that they were doing an X-Men 97, I was slightly a little disappointed because I was like, as much as I love the 90s version of the X-Men, I don't want to go back. I want an updated version of the X-Men. To be perfectly honest, and this is blasphemy to a lot of people when I hear them say that, I'm like, I loved Wolverine and the X-Men more than I like the 90s X-Men cartoon.
I'm with you. Like, I'm with you. That gave me...
It was better.
Yeah, it was better. It was better. And it was way more comic accurate. It was way more adult. They went through way more different storylines and moments. Yeah, Wolverine being the leader of the X-Men and things like that. It's like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the storyline, it was deeper. It was more, not grounded, but it was way more, and the stories just felt better. And they're trying to do that in this, but they're still having it stay in that 90s timeline, like you mentioned. Because we're in the 90s, there weren't really any openly gay characters in the 90s, so we're going to have that be a thing. But then they're also trying to have their cake and eat it too, because the character like Quentin Quire, Kid Omega, he wasn't in the 90s. So his character didn't get introduced to the 2000s. They're having the Grant Morrison suit and things like that. But that was X-Men 2003 or whatever. So it's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too with these 90s storylines, 90s aesthetic, but giving us 2000s and beyond also storyline. Because there's rumors that they want to eventually get to Krakoa. That wasn't the 90s.
No. So this might be a bit of a weird link that I'm making. Have you two seen Supergirl?
No.
The show or the movie?
The movie.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I thought it was a bit of a nothing movie. I didn't hate it the way some people seem to, and I didn't like it the way not many people seem to. But my issue really with it, the thing that really fucked me off with Supergirl, is that I feel like this movie was made without any level of care. I feel like they were just like, oh, we have this story, we're just going to try and put it together. There's an element of X-Men 97 that makes me feel like I don't know whether it's made with... I know they care, but I feel like they care because they know it's a big property.